Ladies and gentlemen, grab your gloves and get your compost ready. Stepping into the ring is the perennial powerhouse, the sultan of soil, the beast of the beds, where permaculture reigns, food grows wild, community roots run deep, and yes, the garden puns hit hard. Freedom starts in the soil. This is the Guerrilla Gardening Show.
Welcome back to the Guerrilla Gardening Show. My name is Mike with Mike's in the Garden. Back as always with my man Sam, Central Florida Abundance. What's happening, Sam?
What's going on, Mike? Happy to be here. I heard you want to talk about some dragon fruit today.
I do want to talk about some dragon fruits. I hope everyone's enjoying the new introduction with my good friend Stoner Bro Flex on the announcements there. But yeah, dragon fruits. When we first met and you came to do a consultation, I was in the infancy phase of some of these dragon fruits. So I'm excited to show you what is happening now. And
yeah, I heard you might have had a harvest.
oh, did I? Okay, so this is the only one that's producing right now. The other ones, I do have a couple of clips. If we get to those, we get to those. But this is let me make sure the audio's off. Okay.
Wow. I mean, that is a very healthy looking dragon fruit. I mean, it is the standard production style of how you grow dragon fruit. You know, what is that, like a 15-gallon pot?
25 gallon.
25-gallon, even better. You got the trellis there made with the little box at the top for those dragon fruit to droop over. And what's interesting with dragon fruit is they don't make the flower until they've started to droop, and they just are no longer attached to something. That's when they're going to flower. And so, I mean, this is the perfect way to do it. What kind
Look
of
at this
soil
one.
do you have in that pot?
It's not even a quarter of the way up this post, and it's got a fruit on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just hanging down there. You know, it's got, I mean, is there 2 plants in there?
There's 3, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was 4, and I think one of them kept, you can kind of see where this one's drooping. I have like a black string holding it to the 4x4 there. And then I have my concrete blocks inside the pot because naturally it's top heavy. And so with some wind, it didn't fall over, but it certainly was very droopy. I mean, looking at this video here, you can see the pot's tilted this way, the 4x4 is tilted that way, but
yeah,
it hasn't stunted production.
No, I mean, if it falls over and, breaks it, that could be a huge problem. One thing you could do is, tie some straps from the top of that box you've made to the ground, and one on each corner, and that's really going to stabilize it no matter where the wind's coming from. But I mean, it's beautiful. Are they all the same type of dragon fruit? Like, are these the seedlings you had? I remember years ago you showed me some dragon fruits that you had germinated from seed, and I thought that was fascinating.
They are not.
Okay.
Surprisingly, this is the kind of pink purple on the outside, purple on the inside, the purple haze variety, I believe.
Okay.
Which is what I thought my seedlings were, which I believe they still are. But I mean, I grew those seedlings because I thought that was the only variety I had. I thought this was the yellow on the outside, white on the inside, your typical store-bought. So I was very happily surprised when I pulled off my first dragon fruit, and it was the one that I wanted.
Nice. Did you get this one from a nursery or just from a friend?
I'm trying to think of where I even got these dragon fruits. This post here, some of these did come from the lady I got my star fruit tree from. and she
Oh, okay.
had kind of it was like two A-frame posts with a 2x4 running across. It was probably 4 feet high, maybe one or two A-frames with a 2x4 running across. And she just had them tied off with strings as they were growing up, and they
Hmm.
would come over the other side. And she just gave me a bunch of them for when I was there. I mean, I could give away 50 cuttings right now because of how they. I mean, they grow unstoppable. So
Oh yeah. And I
yeah,
mean, that's the great thing about this. It's great to have friends like that. And I mean, one of the most interesting things about the dragon fruit to me is how the roots are really just there to support it. You talked about how you tie it to this to kind of keep it on the pole. Um, and a lot of times you have to do that, especially with like pressure treated wood, or if you have, several dragon fruit growing on the same post. But you can see in this shot right here that, there's those roots that have latched on to that post, and they're, doing everything they can to support it. And on, a tree, something with bark, rougher, woody material, it would be able to support itself all on its own. um, and those roots don't absorb any nutrients from the thing they're attached to. That's not what they're there for. It's just the plant has evolved a different type of root to serve, a different function with that same kind of material that it already had. um, and that's why these things are great to root from cuttings, because those aerial roots can shift into, water and nutrient absorbing roots. And so if you break off one of these pieces hanging down and, stick it somewhere else, then you've got a whole new plant that's going to start itself. Maybe even multiple. I've never tried to cut them up, but I'm sure you could probably cut one section into a few different pieces and get them to root.
yeah. I don't have the video here, but I have. When I first started, I would use like a concrete mixing bucket or more of like
Mm,
a tub. And several months ago, maybe even a year ago, I had a couple dragon fruit cuttings that I couldn't give away. And it was just, one of those things where it's like, I have an abundance of these things. I don't know what to do with them. I'm going to put them in this tub for now and forget about them. And they've like tripled in size since then. And the cuttings are now sprawling over. They're growing horizontally. So I don't know how, when, or if dragon fruit will come of it. But you did,
maybe when it makes it out of the bucket and starts going down the sides.
yeah, you did mention something. I'm glad you brought it up and just want to touch on. Um, of course, after I get this whole thing looking nice, I'm thinking to myself, great. I just strapped this to a pressure treated piece of wood. What's that gonna do to my fruit? But you're saying the roots are just attaching to it. They're not actually drawing anything from it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, all of the stuff about pressure treated wood, I mean, it is in the soil that, these things are growing in
True.
also, but there's not really any evidence that chemicals in the soil can make it into the fruits of plants. When the plant makes a fruit, there is a very specific chemical composition that a fruit is made out of, and then that the plant will put into that, thing. Now, we talk about like deficiencies in fruit that comes from the plant not having enough of something to put into the development of the fruit, but it'll never, there's no evidence that, fruit ever contain things that the plant has absorbed. Now, leafy material, that's different. Like if you were to eat, lettuce or broccoli leaves, uh, you know, plants do store compounds that they absorb from the soil in their vegetative material, but
Okay.
not in the fruits. So, that's what makes me feel safe. You still have to be careful about like airborne pollutants. You
Sure.
know, you don't want to harvest fruit from the side of the interstate because of all of that, exhaust emissions. A lot of that stuff can permeate into the fruit through the skin, but the plant itself didn't put those toxins into the fruit. So, in the case of your dragon fruit, your fruit is going to be perfectly fine.
Last year, October, I guess September, October, we had two hurricanes come through here, and these weren't even touching the box at the top yet. So what I did was I just laid this down on the ground, and since they were tied off, they weren't sprawling out like they are now. Um, they survived both hurricanes, stood it back up, and onward she went. So, um,
That's awesome. I mean, that's really the smart, like, in a situation where the plant is going to go through some stress, you want to minimize that stress. And it would have been much more stressful for it to fall over and, break potentially, or at the very least, fall over and hit the ground hard than the stress of you just laying it down gently and letting it sit there till, the storm passed. Now, in this, where you're at now, you probably could still lay it down. Is it rooted into the ground? Do you know?
I don't think it is. I was trying to get a shot of um, like a wide shot
Ooh,
here.
that's a nice shot.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay. So I don't think it's rooted into the ground because I've had to shift this around several times.
Well, that's good.
Um, and I'm going to attempt, and I will film it in the winter to try and pull this out of the pot and dig a hole in the ground and stick it in the ground.
I mean, go for it. I would definitely, I mean, in that situation, you're going to lose a lot of like the growth. So you'd want to prune it. And then, you know, keep all that propagation material. Uh, what are you gonna like? You're just gonna do the post and the soil just in a hole?
Yeah.
Do you have a crane?
I got a wife. Um, I mean, when I was moving this around, it was actually the 4x4 was really loose in the soil there, and so I was basically pushing the soil in around the base of the 4x4. That's also why the blocks are there. They're kind of holding it in place. This here, Sam, is really about a year and a half old as far as its position and on the 4x4. Some of the dragon fruits themselves were probably 6 months to a year old before that. So I'm okay if I lose some. I'm actually okay if I just prune some down to like the 2 or 3 foot level and then let it start again. Um, but
Yeah, I would prune it down, before you try to transplant it, and just to make it easier. Because I mean, passion fruit's not, or uh, it's not necessary. Dragon fruit's not necessarily fun to handle. It
no, it's
is
not.
thorny.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
so just like cutting it down off the top of that post, and then, I mean, you know, really, you just kind of start over. Reset the post where around wherever your rooted passion fruit end up. I feel like that soil is going to break apart if you try to, when you pull it out of the pot, like especially if the post is loose, then the movement of that is going to knock all the soil apart. But really, if you just separate the roots of the dragon fruit, as the soil falls apart, and then just put them into the new hole, roots intact, they're going to be probably fine. I mean, they should do even better than the cuttings do, because they already have established root systems. You know, doing
I've
it all in one piece, I would not, I wouldn't even think that that was possible. Uh,
Oh,
but certainly getting it in the ground, and that'll be the best thing for it long term. I can picture dragon fruit just all over your wood fence here.
yeah. Well, I may lay it down and slide it out and then upright it and then pick it up and put it in place. Um,
You let me know when you're gonna do it, and I'll come over.
all right.
I'll film it. I don't know if I'll lend a hand, but we'll get some
Well,
video evidence.
I mean, I've been growing dragon fruits for 3 years now, and they are extremely difficult to kill. We did a video
Oh
recently
yeah.
on pineapples, how difficult those are. Dragon fruits. I mean, I'm not intentionally trying to kill them, but I have some that have kind of like been forgotten in pots, and
Yeah.
next thing I know, there's 20 of them growing from one of them. Um, so I do want to show.
Yeah, I've got a dragon fruit in like a maybe 1 gallon pot, maybe smaller, on the
Okay,
side of my moringa tree. And the dragon fruit has already latched to the moringa, but it's still in the little pot. And it's not really in an area that I water.
okay,
Sometimes it gets hit by the sprinkler, but it's just growing. And I saw it today and I was like, man, I need to get that guy in the ground. Just he right there, right at the base of that moringa. And I think the moringas, they have, you can make them have nice lateral branches, and it's got a pretty thick base now. It's like a 2-year-old moringa. And
okay.
so I think that'll make a really nice trellis for the dragon fruit. I don't know what kind it is. That'll be a surprise, just like yours.
Yeah, I've seen videos. I'm pretty sure they're here in Florida, of people with their dragon fruits. Excuse me, growing up. I don't know, oak tree or something, and
Oh, I've seen that. That gets
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Um, and I may just yet, you know me, I'm effing around and finding out here. I may try and stick some on our oak tree in the back there, um,
They
and see
don't
what
cause
they
a
do.
problem at all. And, they get big, like they'll climb the whole tree. The real thing is that you're not able to harvest the fruit, because it's too far up. You get it when it
True.
falls.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
but as long as you got some in the garden that you're already getting to harvest from, plant them around, share it with the birds.
Yeah, so this is it in the fridge. I've my experience putting it in the fridge and then eating it a lot sweeter.
Yeah,
Um,
cold. That's the
yeah,
best.
yeah.
That looks
So
amazing.
yeah, so that's what she looks like here.
That's
And
medicine right there.
it totally blew me away when I first saw the flowers. I mean, a big like trumpet tree looking flower,
Oh, they're beautiful.
and then they die, and it's just this long, like decrepit thing. Like
You're like, what happened?
I'm like, aren't you supposed to like be gone now? Um,
No. That means you got some good pollinators out there. I'm assuming you didn't hand pollinate them,
no,
or
no,
did?
I was in between the passion flowers on those trellises I have, and I just broadcasted a bunch of sunflower seeds couple months ago, and I was out there getting some video the other day. There had to have been between those two tunnels 100 bees buzzing around,
Oh, wow.
and big giant bees. Saw like a fluorescent green, well, like iridescent green, um, bee, and
Oh, okay.
just the coolest thing standing there watching them while it was 1,000 degrees outside. But
That might be one of our native bees. They live in the ground mostly.
okay,
They don't make hives, but you'll see little holes in the ground and they'll go down in there and make their little dens.
so I've got another one here I want us to look at because this one's
Yeah. I want
pretty
to see more of this
interesting as
fruit
well.
here.
Um, okay, so
Oh,
this
you got
is
another plant.
yeah, this
I
is a
see.
2x4. This one isn't doing as well. This one's actually older than the 4x4. So you can see it's surrounded by sweet potatoes, longevity spinach. It's a cranberry
Yeah.
hibiscus in there. I just yanked out a huge weed that was right there at the bottom. Um, and
So it's
this
had a lot
one,
of competition, but
yeah, and this one's really awkward looking. When I planted it, I only had a few to start with, and I don't like throwing things away, and I also don't know really how to compost dragon fruit. Um, but just because you can't kill them. But so I've
yeah,
just left them in the
that'll be a
ground.
video
But
for another day.
maybe I stick them in my worm farm and see how the worms do with them.
Little tiny pieces, if you can cut them up real small, they'll break down a little easier. But that plant is not doing as well, and I mean maybe it's not a good, you know, uh uh test because it was just one of your first ones and maybe it wasn't planted so well.
Yeah,
But I am curious about the soil that you had in that pot for the first one. Like
yeah,
what
that
kind of
one probably had quite a bit of amendments. Probably had. I just did a whole treatment of Verma. Yeah, it was
the
the.
vermicast extract, like the
Yep.
liquid? Nice.
Actually, it was the vermicompost. It was actually the. I
The
had
solid?
two trays full. It was pretty wet, but I got it down right before it rained hard the other night. So um, hopefully it washed it in. But I had a good tray full of the vermicast. So, but yeah, that first one it definitely got a lot of love. It's in full sun. This second one we
Hmm.
just saw here, not as much sun, but um, it was full sun. The plumerias are shading it out now, but this one here is interesting because this is between two beds, and you can kind of see I've tied it off to one of this trellises here because my intent was to get it to grow up over the trellis. I've seen that done, and
Hmm. On a metal trellis?
if I've seen it done, I want to try it, but it it's not doing that great. But oddly enough, it has this fruit on it, and this thing's probably like 2 feet tall.
Huh. That is odd.
Now, now I've had this happen before. Notice there's no flower, and what's happened was this fruit is like a soggy mush,
Yeah,
and
like
so
it's a
yeah,
cry for help. It's a stress fruit. The
yeah,
plant's nearly dead,
yeah,
and I mean, I mean this one's definitely shady because it's in amongst all your passion flower in those hoop trellises.
yeah.
And I mean that could be an issue. I'm I don't know. I'm interested to see, if you can, if any of them in your yard soil are gonna look good. Um,
Yeah, and this one was like you can kind of see when I pull out here. This one was like a 2 foot long um, dragon fruit cactus. And so it was one of those things that I just figured, let me see if it'll try and grow up this trellis here. And yeah, it doesn't appear to be doing great. You can see the passion flowers. I've got watermelon in there. There's sunflowers to the
oh
left.
yeah.
So it's got a lot of competition now.
How'd you come
Um,
across this one? Like, how did you start it?
this one was a cutting off another one that just it was probably a cutting off of the 4x4 there because that one's had some really really long cactuses. So
Okay. Did you just put the cutting straight into the ground or did you root it first?
cutting straight into the ground.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I mean, at that point, it may take a couple years before it really, looks healthy.
yeah,
I would I would prune it, you know, keep it down to like one direction right
yeah,
now. Don't let it branch out. You could even cut the top of that long, like the long pad that has the flower on it. You could just cut the top portion off,
okay,
and then it would just keep growing from this other, pad that it shot off. You could kind of get that maybe on the pole.
yeah,
Um, it doesn't seem like it's going to grow more pads from the top right now.
right.
And I mean, maybe if you cut the extension off, it would try, but
Yeah, the
you
pad
know,
actually almost looks like it it was cut already. Like there was something
Oh,
on there before.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
it's probably why it's shooting out. Um, but yeah, I thought this was a good one to share because yeah, I this looks like it's pretty stressed out. Um, and I thought it would be a good example to show of what that looks like. And you know, I'm out here doing my science stuff, so
Yeah, it can take some time, like for the cuttings to establish like a real healthy root system for them to then, grow. That can take some time in the ground. Um, but we just take care of them through that first year or two. And then usually once the root system's established, like you said, they're pretty impossible to kill. I do like this shot because you can really see the spines on the
yeah.
dragon fruit, and they're always, they're in these little clusters on the tops of these ridges, and those same areas are where, new pads can form. Those are all, I mean, the spines are leaves. So in this kind of plant, the pads are the stem of the plant, and the spines are what the plant has turned its leaves into. And since the spines are so small, it's turned its stems photosynthetic. That's why its stems are green. But it's the same as any plant. It has these leaf nodes, and then those nodes are where branching occurs. So, we can look at these spines, and when we prune the dragon fruit, we can see where the next spines are. So just like any other plant, we want to prune the stem right above the leaf nodes. And so we would just prune it, right above, you know, three of the spines there around the triangle. And then that would encourage a potential branch to come out of, one of those top spines, hopefully. So
Hmm.
that's something to consider if you decide to prune the top of this.
Yeah, if we had more time and you know, thought about it, it's better that we did the 4x4 in this one, but I'd go to where like my cuttings that I propagated that are in pots that now have more, um, cuttings that can be used from those because I have one. It's like 12 out like this. Um, so, but awesome.
Yeah, we got to shout out our gardener this week. Um, and this is somebody that I really wanted to shout out. This is Eco Love Nursery and Farm, Patricia and Eros. They are wonderful people. They're in Kissimmee, and they host a farmers market at their property every first weekend of the month. And it's really just a wonderful community space. Um, they allow local vendors to come out. They don't really charge people that much. They're selling, plants. They have a nursery. They have produce. They're starting their farm. I don't know if you saw at the top up there, but it looks like they're selling Andre the Farmer's hot sauce at their market. That's a pretty cool one. Definitely check him out if you haven't already. But they're just doing a lot of really cool stuff. Trying to be regenerative. They're working with the land, trying to do what makes sense, and really just trying to bring the community together out there. So y'all should give them a follow and check out their farmers market if you're near the Kissimmee area. It's definitely worth the drive.
Yeah, shout outs to Eco Love. All right, Sam, we got about 30 seconds. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find more of you?
Yep, you can check out Central Florida Abundance if you want a consultation and learn about regenerative growing, or you can check out the Igo Family Farm if you want to buy some produce in Polk County. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the names stay the same. Where you at, Mike?
You can find me at Mike's in the Garden and get yourself a shirt. Support the channel right here.